Mhm. So this is my first time going live on both Instagram and Facebook at the same time. I don't know if anybody can see me just yet, but hey. If you're there, just wave and say hello. I know there's a little bit of a delay, but I'm trying to wait until some folks come on. Hello, hello. Say hi if you've jumped on, just so I know that you're there. I know there's a little bit of a delay, but some people have wanted to know what's going on with me, so I figured I'd do a Facebook Live, both on Instagram and Facebook at the same time, so I don't have to repeat it, because it is kind of hard for me to talk about this right now. It's not easy to do, but there's a lot of people who care about me, who have been wondering what's going on with me. Hey, Kristen, how are you? I see Carrie, I see Jasmine, my cousin Dora. How y'all doing? Hi. So yeah, I am on Instagram and on Facebook Live at the same time. No one's joined from Instagram, which is okay with me, because all of my closest people are really on Facebook. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get started and kind of talk about a little bit about what's been going on with me. I have a lot of friends who've reached out with lots of messages of love and support, and I really do appreciate that. And so I had to get on and just first of all say thank you. I didn't bring any tissues, so we're not going to do that tonight, okay? But you know, I think people want to know where I've been. I kind of have isolated myself a little bit, and kind of like been by myself a little bit because I've been down, had a lot going on, and I felt like I needed a little bit of isolation for my growth. I've been really sensitive to things that people have said to me, and I didn't really know why. I felt like I feel like I've never really fit in. You know, I have a very loving family. I have a very loving family. The Carter family is amazing. And they have never once made me feel like I didn't belong. So I will say that first and foremost, that my family makes me feel like I belong, but something about it, I just did not feel like I belonged in my friend groups or you know, any of my groups that I've been a part of. I said I wasn't gonna cry, but you know, I've always been a part of different communities, and it starts off great, and I have a lot of friends, or a lot of people around me, I should say. I'm very quick to use the word friend, and I learned that too. But I have a lot of people who care about me, who have been in my corner and supported me. But then there's always been a part of me that just questions, you know, that support sometimes. And it's not always because of something somebody does or says, but it's just a feeling. And sometimes I don't know where those feelings come from or why I have them. And so it has caused me to feel a deep, deep state of depression. It's been hard to come up out of. And for this particular bout, it has been really, really challenging. And I don't know why, but my mom has been really trying to support me and help me through it all. And I have I have some coworkers who have reached out and tried to be supportive. And I just want y'all to know that even though I'm crying, you know, and I have these tears, I'm working through it. And I'm getting some help to try to deal with some of those emotions because they're all over the place. And I don't exactly know why. Okay, so that's first and foremost. We're gonna stop talking about this so I could get on with the rest of what I have to talk to you about. But you know, I just wanted my friends to know who've been reaching out to me. Patrick, I got your phone call. Thank you so much. Jasmine, I know I got to call you back. you know, thank you all for really being in my corner. And I know that I feel like I've let a lot of people down by not being present. There's been a lot of weddings that I couldn't show up to because I simply couldn't pull it together. And I feel really bad about those situations. I do. More than you probably would ever know. Because I've been the reliable friend, I've been the dependable friend, the one people call the strong friend. And in this moment, that's just not who I think that I am. That's not something that I identify with. And so it's been really hard to accept that this just isn't my moment in time when I'm the strong friend. And so thank you to my sorors. Thank you to my ships. Adrian, I'm sorry I didn't make it to your wedding. I know I'm the only one who didn't go, and it hurts that I couldn't be there. And this was right around the time when I first started feeling bad. And so I just wanted to share that. I feel like I had to do a public apology for that, because like when it's your line sisters and your ships and you know, they really depend on you to be somewhere, you know, you feel really bad letting them down. You know, so I just want you to know that I love you. And to my ships who reached out afterward, during the wedding and afterwards, to try to find me. You know, my mom was making sure I was good. I was okay. You know, I wasn't okay, but I was okay, you know. So thank you so much. Thank you, Robin, for reaching out and saying that you're praying for me. I appreciate that. Thank you, Carrie, for praying for me. That's the best thing you can do. So yeah, I had to share that I was going through some things and really needed some support from family and friends. And in my state of feeling depressed, I was still trying to go to work and do things. And if you know anything about people who are depressed, like we still got to pay bills, right? We still got to get up and take care of other people. Me, fortunately, I don't have any kids at the moment, so I don't have to like get up and cook a meal for somebody other than myself. But I do have students who rely on me, who expect me to be places and do things. And so I've gone to work and had total breakdowns in front of people, and it's really embarrassing, you know. But on one particular day, I didn't have the breakdown, but I was in a session and somebody called me a negative person. And for some reason, that was like a trigger for me. And like it spiraled into a whole lot of other things that I didn't expect, and really brought me down, really down. And so I talked about it with my mom a little bit, tried to deal with those emotions and figure out what was going on, and why that bothered me. And I think I know why it bothered me now. And it's because we as Black women are often told that we're angry and we're bitter and we are always just sad, you know. And my boss even said, "Oh, you're a little Eeyore-ish." And I'm like, Eeyore-ish? Like Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh, who's like, you know, really sad and talks like that, you know. And I was like, I don't really see me as an Eeyore or a sad person, or a negative person. You know, when I think of negative people, I don't think of people like me. That's not something I identify with. And so I don't know why it really bothered me, but it just kind of triggered something around the idea that Black women are bitter and angry and unhappy. And yeah, I may have moments when I'm unhappy. I may have say something that's negative, but I am not a negative person. And so that's why I made that okay to be me video. It was very important that I get out my feelings. And right now, the best way I knew to do that has been through art and in a creative way and through design. And so that's why I decided to do the video formation of that. But what really helped, I think, I wasn't going to put it out. So I made it, but I wasn't going to release it and put it on the internet. But Bruce Franks, I don't know if you all know him, but he's a state representative in St. Louis. And I don't know him personally. I've been in the same vicinity with him, but he had posted a video very similar to mine of just a Facebook Live of him talking about his feelings and dealing with anxiety and depression, and how you should still continue to do what it is you can do and don't allow those thoughts and feelings to stop you from creating. And I was like, well, if I'm a negative person, won't that come out in my work? Like, I started second guessing myself, started second guessing whether it was a good idea to share any of my art, because my art would be negative, right? Like, the things that I say and do will come across as negative. And I do think that Okay to Be Me video started off in a very dark place. Like, if you watch it, it went really left, and I had to go back and take a look at it and say, okay, if my goal is to inspire people, I need to have a happy ending, right? And then I started listening to his video. I was like, no, I don't necessarily have to have a happy ending, and this video doesn't necessarily have to be for somebody else. It can be for me. And so I turned it into something that was good for me, to help me. And I feel like it did some good. And he did reach out. He said thank you, and that he thought the video was amazing. And so I appreciate that. I appreciate all the people who have shared that they liked the video, who have liked and shared it. Please like and share it more, so that other people can see it and be inspired as well. So yeah, I mean, that's it on that tip. I just felt like it needed to be said, it needed to be shared, as far as what was going on with me, why I've been absent, why I haven't really been in my different friend groups and around my sorors as much, or around, just around. I've been MIA, and I do know that. But there's some other things that are going on inside of my business, if you will. And so that's why I labeled this All Up in My Business, because people want to know what's happening with the business. It's actually going pretty well. I do have new clients. I have a lot of things happening. And so I decided to do some revamping, because people were confused about who I was representing or what I was doing with my business. So I have the Mamie Taught Me brand, which deals with helping people become their best selves and to use their platform to show how awesome they are. And I'm going to teach people how to use Adobe products like Photoshop and InDesign and all this video editing, all the stuff that you thought was really cool on Instagram, and the things that I've been posting with my own videos, showing people how to do what I do to produce those things, so they can inspire other people with their work and whatever it is that they do. And then the MamieTillMobley.com site is going to be turned into more of a memorial site and really honor Mamie in the way that I think that she deserves, that I don't quite see happening from the universal level. Like, I would like to see a Mamie Till Mobley Day, and that hasn't happened yet. So maybe if we lay the foundation and ask for it, those things will come to fruition. And we know that we still want justice for Emmett Till. So that's number one. And that's kind of where that work is going to take place. It's Not Too Late for Justice campaign is going to run from that site. And then also I'm going to continue to help families who've lost loved ones to violence from that site. My goal, or one of my dreams and wishes, is to have a retreat for mothers, a mastermind group, a Mamie Till Mobley mastermind group, where they are helping each other to cope, where they're helping each other to build their foundations and helping each other to like sharing their resources. I think that's important. When we talk about networking, we don't talk about how it actually works. And so I want to create a group that allows mothers to do that, so that they continue to fight for their children and fight for the folks who they love, who've been ripped apart from them. Speaking of, I just saw The Hate U Give. They don't give us like any like warning that they're gonna pop up pictures of Emmett Till, and it's very emotional when that happens. So if anybody out there is listening, I would really appreciate it if you like just kind of like tell people in the media that you're going to be using images from people's families. I think it's rude to go to a movie and see a family member on the screen, particularly images of them, brutally murdered. It's deep. So that was triggering. I can talk to you about my thoughts about the movie some other time, but yeah, that was interesting. If you have questions, you can ask me questions. I don't want people to feel like they're just listening to me and they can't ask questions. Go ahead and ask me a question. So as far as my business, I haven't been emailing people as much as I should. And so I focused this month when it comes to Mamie taught me about email marketing, because I'm getting ready to launch back into my emails and make sure people know that I care about my list, and nurture that list. I'm teaching other people how to use their email list, because it is the only platform that you own, and we don't treat it like it's impactful. We don't treat it like it's a serious thing. We kind of, when I say we, like most folks, they ignore their list, or they forget that they have a list. They just try to get people on it, and then when they're ready to sell, they sell to the list, but they don't really nurture that list or build the relationships. And I think that's because the numbers that you get from your email marketing and your email list aren't public, right? So like Facebook is really public and Instagram is really public. And so those numbers are like out there and people can see them. But like with your email list, that's private unless you share it with somebody. And most of the time folks aren't sharing their email list numbers because, one, they're ashamed. Yeah, because they don't have a list and they haven't built one. Like I know people who have thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands of likes, and people who share their stuff. Their content has gone viral, but they don't have an email list. And they have no way to get in touch with all of the people who are friending them on Facebook and Instagram. And it's a shame because those aren't real relationships that they're making tangible. They're not connecting with those people over and over again. It's just a one-time deal, and then that's it. And so I really believe in nurturing our relationships and our friendships. And I think part of the reason why I've struggled here in New York has been because I feel like so much of the relationships that I built here have been so shallow. You know, I've talked about coming home. You know, I asked my mom if I could come home, but I thought that was a little bit of a cop out, and she was just kind of like, yeah, you need to figure it out. And so it's been 3 years now. I like it here, but I miss home. And so I do plan on finding a way to get back to Chicago, just so you all know. So yeah, the cat's out the bag. I'm trying to come home, but not just because of like mental health stuff, but just because I just feel like that's where I have a calling to come back home. I see what's going on in the news, you know, really, really happy that Rahm Emanuel's not running for mayor again. You know, that's been a long fight and a battle. But I also feel like some of my friends are out there doing this work and they need a break, or they need some extra help and some extra hands, like Kina and Camilla. I see y'all. You know, y'all are doing big things, and you're making sure kids aren't fighting when they're going home. Like these folks are walking folks from school to their house. You know, I sat on a panel on Friday, and I was asked a question that really I think is offensive when you're talking to a protester or you're talking to an activist. And the question was, well, what good does the protesting do, or what good do you all seen come out of your activism? And to me, the reason it's so offensive is because the people who ask that question are the people who don't show up. The people who ask that question don't show up. And it's really a slap in the face, because we work so hard to organize and get people to come out to help make a difference and make that change. And then when the change actually does happen in the community, people want to claim it like they were a part of it. No, you were pissed that we were standing in the middle of the street with our signs, stopping you from going to work or stopping you from doing whatever your plans were that evening. We held up traffic and you were unhappy about it. You know, and I said I wasn't going to talk about The Hate U Give, but the part that I really didn't care for in the movie was all of the scenes that dealt with protesters, because I felt like it was the extreme, right? So like the rioting that happens, the fighting, it's dangerous to protest. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like some of the way they the way they portrayed, my bad, the protesters was very like protesters are just out here trying to set stuff on fire and fight police. No, a lot of times we're working with the police and we tell them what streets we're gonna be on, and we got to get a permit. We don't agree with all of that stuff. Nobody wants to have to ask permission to walk down the streets of Chicago. But a lot of times the folks who are organizing have to do that in order to ensure the safety of the folks who are coming. Because people do bring their children. And although I may not be worried about myself, I'm worried about all the people that I'm in charge of. And as an organizer, that's something that we make sure we take care of in advance, making sure we have really laid out some clear guidelines and expectations as to what to expect when you're out there in the streets protesting. So I know I've talked about a lot of different things on this this live, and I had to come on and share that little tidbit about what was going on with me, what to expect moving forward from my businesses, because that's what they are. They're not hobbies, y'all. I'm not out here just creating flyers for people. I'm doing real work, and I hope it's impactful, and I hope it's useful and stuff that you all can use. That's all I got. I haven't seen any questions. Nobody has a question about anything I said? Y'all not worried about me? You're not worried? I think y'all ain't worried. I think y'all know that I'm okay. I'm okay. But if you do have questions, I don't know. I don't know that I'm ready to answer all the questions about what's going on with like my mental health or anything like that, but I'm definitely here for questions about my business and questions about art and graphic design and doing the work that you want to do to promote yourself as an entrepreneur. So hit me up, call me, beat me if you want to reach me. All right. Till next time. Bye.